Good morning, chat. We are currently gapped down on the Nasdaq 30 points. Yesterday's close was at 23,797. Nasdaq futures currently down 0.16%. ES futures currently down 0.06%. ES is above the VWAP 200 SMA and 100 MA now. I do have a little bit of a bearish bias, but that could change and adapt as needed. Market is open in 30 seconds. We did have negative Home Depot Q2 earnings. It spiked down in the market a little bit. Also, Trump did an interview with Fox at 8 a.m. Then at 8:30, we had news. U.S. housing starts came in positive. Building permits came in negative. And housing start change, obviously positive. Building permit change negative. News on the docket at 10 a.m. Fed Bauman speaking. 1 p.m. Trump signing congressional bill. I'm going to assume that's going to be pushed back to after market, but we'll see. 1 p.m. White House press briefing with Caroline Leavitt. Then 2:10 Fed Bauman speaking again. We do have other news, but we'll get straight into trading. NQ about to wake up. Tap the NQ 30-minute VWAP. ES is above the VWAP. 200 SMA, 100 MA. Good morning. Nvidia starting up 0.1%. Tesla starting up 0.5%. Google starting down 0.15%. Amazon starting down 0.7%. Microsoft down 0.6%. QCOM coming up 0.3%. Adobe up 0.7%. ES is waking up early. NQ 5-minute tapping the 20 MA. ES waking down in the VWAP. NQ trying to reject that NQ 30-minute VWAP. We do have a trend line down to the downside, 23,709. That pivot point as well at 23,745. Good morning. New haircut, appreciate it, Milad. Bias short, I kind of agree, Taro. But that could change as needed. Good morning, Funny, Milad, Miguel, John, Elijah. Appreciate you guys. Good morning. Good morning, Lena. So far, the ES is below the VWAP now. 200 SMA, 100 MA. RSI for the ES 1 minute is below the MA. Let's see how this goes. Bitcoin sitting 0.45% down. NQ waking down. Flush the pre-market low. About to tap the trend line. If it were to create a double bottom here, it would need to bounce pretty much here. And it's just straight waking down. Very key level at 23,654. Currently getting a bounce off the trend line, but I believe it's going to break. Video flipping red. Looking fresh. Appreciate it, Miguel. You got in on that short. You're looking very nice. It's likely going down 30 more points. It's almost at the target. Nvidia down 0.5%, Tesla down 0.25%, Google down at 1%, Amazon down 0.8%, Microsoft down 0.8%. Waiting for the flush down. Little more. So far, hard points down. You called the short, you're looking very good. Yeah, and 30-minute VWAP at 23,757. It has at least one more lay down, at least. Russell 2000 flipping red. The Dow is up 0.18%. ATR sitting up at 13. ATR is at 13. The VIX volatility index is at 15.11, up 0.9% for the day. Ethereum flipping red 0.3% now. Solana is down 0.65%. XRP is down 1.8%. Okay, let me get ready. I will be catching this falling knife in a minute. And it may want to go down all the way to 23,620 before a bounce. Little lower. Trying to bounce. I'm with one short. Overextension could pop back up to the trend line, but I'm targeting up 80, up 70. Paying very close attention. Waiting for the wick down. Down 75. Could have bottom ticked it, but I believe it's coming down a little further. May want to pop up to the ESVWAP. Down 100, down 130. That's why I want to start with one. We're going to double trade this. Wanted to be in at that VWAP. Here we go. Wick down, wick down. Up 40, up 50, up 100. Okay. Ten more points down. Waiting for the wick. Very risky, by the way. Down 200. Down 250. ES popping up. Nvidia coming down. Send her down. Trying to pop up. Apple flipping green. Down to 50, down 300. Down 400. And with one more short. I am holding conviction today. Missed the pop. Missed the short at the VWAP. That was the whole plan to start, but missed it. Down 800. May want to pop to the 20. May. May with two more. I'm with four. It's either gonna pull back here or it's not. ES is tapping the VWAP. About to tap that trend line. So it's either gonna pull back here, go to that point, or it's not. Nvidia is coming down. Beautiful. Up 30. Apple flipping back red. They may want to wick this up to the trend line. That trend line is at 23,709. I'll be targeting that. RSI for the ES 1 minute getting above that May. Down 1200, 4 contracts short. We need Nvidia prop down. Very risky stuff. I just have very strong conviction about this level. So far, bottom ticked it. Missed the first entry. It is what it is. Nvidia's coming down. Google down 1%. Down 800, down 900. A lot of people were longing into that consolidation, by the way. Bring her down, up 100. It could create a higher low. I'm watching that. Nvidia tanking. Q trying to bounce. Nvidia's now down 0.5%. Tesla trying to flip green. Apple flipping green again. We're waking up, down 1700. ES tapping the 200 SMA.
Order filled.
And with 4 more, short. Very high risk trade. May want to V-shape recover very early. 0.1 EMA about to be tapped. Down 10 points. We need a rejection of this trend line. We need ES to prop down below the 200 SMA. $1,000 away from blowing, down 2,500. So far, IQ above that trend line. ES is doing a V-shape recovery. This count's going to be gone. V-shape recovery from the ES means the NQ is likely going to V-shape recover. $1,000 away, down 3,500, down 4,000, 3 away, 300 away from blowing. Tapping 20 May.
Order filled.
And blown. Well, that is very annoying. I knew exactly what I was going to do to start the day. I literally told the members exactly what I was going to do. And I decided to go short for 10 points at the bottom instead of just longing one. Could have very well easily happened, but pull back 100 points. I don't know. Literally told the members it was going to wick down to the 23,654 level at like 2 a.m. this morning. Plan was to get short at the NQ 30-minute VWAP. I had it on my chart up here, and it had already hidden in here. Reset. It is time for a reset. All right, 15-minute opening range closes in 1 minute. Bitcoin's coming down to a full reset and chill out. All right, so Europe market synopsis. Let's get caught up with the news. European markets showed cautious optimism on August 19th as the Stock 600 index rose 0.5%, driven by progress in diplomatic talks aimed at ending the Russian-Ukraine conflict. European equity index futures gained 0.2%, reflecting positive sentiment around potential peace negotiations following U.S. President Donald Trump's meeting with the Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky and European leaders. Investors are focused on upcoming U.S. retail earnings to gauge the impact of tariffs and inflation, with Home Depot's disappointing sales sparking concerns about consumer spending. The Federal Reserve Jackson starting Thursday is anticipated to provide insight into U.S. interest rate policies, with markets expecting a rate cut in September. The dollar weakened slightly and Treasuries saw modest gains after SP Global Rating affirmed the US AA plus long-term rating. Oil prices dropped, with Brent falling $66 a barrel amid speculation of increased Russian supply if ceasefire is reached. The Asian market synopsis. Asian markets remain flat as investors adopted a wait-to-see approach amid geopolitical developments and upcoming U.S. economic events. Stocks in mainland China stayed near a decade high, while Japanese government bond futures fell after a poorly received 20-year debt sale. The lack of fresh macro catalysts contributed to a mixed performance, with Japan's Nikkei 225 rising 0.8% and South Korean's Kospi falling 1.5%. Oil prices slipped 0.7%, with Brent below $60 a barrel due to expectations of increased Russian supply if a Ukraine ceasefire is reached. Markets are also focused on the Federal Reserve Jackson Hole for the interest rate signals, with expectations of a U.S. rate cut in September. A gauge of the dollar showed little movement, reflecting cautious investor sentiment. That is the synopsis for the European and Asian markets. We do have news in 14 minutes. Fed Bauman speaking. Then 1 p.m. supposedly Trump is signing a congressional bill. I believe that's going to be pushed back probably till after market. We have 1 p.m. White House press briefing with Caroline Leavitt, and then 2:10 p.m. Fed Bauman speaking. U.S. equities futures drifted as earnings from the U.S. largest retailers kicked off on Tuesday, putting the focus on strength of the U.S. consumer as markets linger near record highs. We did have Trump speaking at 8. Trump spoke at 8 to a Fox on Fox something interview. Trump, Europeans want to end the war with Ukraine and Russia. Trump on Putin and Zelensky meeting, will let them meet first. Trump, Putin relationship only matters if they get things done. Trump, I hope Putin will be good. If not, a rough situation. Zelensky has showed flexibility also. Putin and Zelensky are getting along better than expected. We are setting up meeting with Putin and Zelensky. Putin and Zelensky have to call the shots. He blames Obama for giving away Crimea and Ukraine. Ukraine won't be a part of NATO. France, Germany, and UK want to boost boots on the ground in Ukraine. It's possible Putin doesn't want to make a deal. Ukraine is going to get a lot of land. Russia is a powerful military nation. It's all coming from Trump in a Fox meeting. Trump on potential U.S. security guarantees, possibly by air. Trump will warn Ukraine. Always thought the Ukraine was a buffer between Russia and Europe. There will be some form of security, but it can't be NATO. I did not call Putin in front of the European leaders. Putin happily picked up the phone call yesterday. We will watch them videos soon. Scott Bessent also said, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, much of PPI inflation was investment services. Now to wait, adapt, and see. Nvidia is now down 1.1%. Tesla about to flip green. Apple is now up 0.4%. Google is down 1.2%. Amazon's down 1.2%. Microsoft is down 0.85%. Meta is down 1.15%. Netflix is down 3%. MicroStrategy down 2%. Palantir now down 6%. GME is down 0.25%. Costco down 0.2%. Alibaba up 0.5%. AFGO is down 2.5%. AMD is down 3.3%. QCOM is down 0.5%. Adobe is up 1.5%. Voyager Technology is down 4.2%. Robinhood is down 3%. The Dow Jones is up 0.35%. Dow Jones up 0.35%. ES about to tap the VWAP again. What's up, so? Norman, you can't make any bigger mistake than I just made and what you guys just witnessed. I knew exactly what the market was going to do. That confirms with the member post at 2 a.m. Literally knew exactly what the market was going to do, and didn't execute on the 100 points, and then decided to short 10 points away from the target instead of going long. So you can know what the market's going to do, but if you miss execute, that's why I say execution is the most important part. Now, news is king always, but read the market like a book, miss execute it, and that's what I get. Are you trading Haktua coin? Absolutely not. Didn't that get banished or something? Because she rug pulled it. What's up, Barn? Venezuela is about to be Ernesto says Venezuela is about to be taken over by a super US friendly government. Same for Cuba. Which company should be a good buy? Oil production will rise. I'm not tapped into that news. Why aren't you trading? Because we just took a big fat L. Big fat L. Obviously, Mark. I mean, you're just saying the obvious. You called it earlier, sure that follow through. I've said that 4 times now. We're just gonna cool off. If I go chasing that right now, likely more accounts will follow. So it's best just to cool off, take a minute. These are the most volatile and opportunist, like this hour or 2 hours between market open 11:30. That is prime time, but we're gonna have to sacrifice 20 minutes or so. It is what it is. Ultimately, I believe this is coming up. The Nasdaq's probably going to V-shape recovery. recover because the ES did it. V-shape recover, and they love following each other. But I'm not going to take a trade until my mind is clear. Fully predicted market, misexecuted, took a big fat L. I'm not fully tilted, but I can feel it, so I'm just gonna cool off and not even worry about trading for the time being. Good job, Giannis. Appreciate it, Mark. Meeting between NATO military leader on Ukraine expected to take place on Wednesday. Also, Jerome Powell is speaking on Friday. We do have a pretty news-stacked week. Thursday is good. Friday is good. Thursday, we have U.S. S&P Services PMI, U.S. existing home sales, U.S. initial jobless claims, Walmart, Alibaba earnings. Friday, we have Jerome Powell speaking at keynote speech. Jackson Hole. So the gaps, ES has filled the gap. ES has V-shape recovered. NQ has not filled the gap. NQ has not V-shape recovered. Mark, what are you talking about? Hey Chris, do you have any calls you're working on at the moment? What do you mean? Like possible trades I'll take?
You had in your pocket 4 or 5 years ago. There's not.
Tesla is now at 1.15%. Apple is up 0.5%. We are below that trend line. ES is above the VWAP. Tap the 200 SMA now. No, I haven't tried options in 3 years. We'll see if this creates a higher high or not. A higher low. X, man, you guys have full range to ban him, man. He's literally talking about Jesus. Oh boy. What's up, Charlottes? Charlotte's, I've been looking to get back in options. I just really, it would need a refresher of a week or two, and I haven't touched them in about 3 years. Right now, I'm just focused on NQ futures. About it. With a little bit of crypto. The beast. Any clue why the market tanked on open? Well, we had a positive meeting, the Trilap meeting between Russian president of the Federation, Vladimir Putin, and Ukraine's president Zelensky. Positive news, possible Trilap meeting with him, them, and Trump. So usually the market loves, also we had a lot of consolidation over the Friday's news, and with that positive news, the market loves to do the opposite. Also negative Home Depot earnings, but that's, I mean, this was going to do that regardless. ES is breaking out right now. NQ, tap that trend line. I'm just gonna let it go. All right, so why I picked this key level, this pivot point at 23,653 before the market even started at 2 a.m. We have a touch point right here, breakthrough, rejection, touch point, breakthrough, rejection, consolidation on it, even stronger, that means, and then another touch point, bounce off, and then look at this trend line. Trend line got tapped once, 2 times, 3 times, and then the 4th time it breaks. That's usually a pattern. It really depends on the news volatility around it, and a lot of consolidation over this, and I just knew they were going to want to wick down through the day, especially on positive news, possible end to the Russian-Ukrainian war, at least a step towards it, which is positive news. And market loves to do the opposite, and that's a very key level. And before they explode to the upside, if they even do, depending on news, they would want to tap that key pivot point and then prop up. Now, honestly, when market started, what the plan was to get short, and that's easy to say hindsight, get short at the VWAP. That's why I had it up here, but it had already moved down. I said it before market, and it hit it. I had the VWAP up here, if you remember, but it was actually down here, so I was waiting for it to flush up, and it went without me, down 100 points. But honestly, I was unsure if it was going to wick up, fill the gap right here from yesterday's close at 22,797, possibly even going to this top trend line, then taking down. What's up, legend? Jab gap. Good luck, Mark. Appreciate it, legend. Appreciate it. What's up, the greatest? Guess who long at the open high? Can't win them all. Well, yep. We blew an account today, ledge. Should have been a very profitable day, but it is what it is. There are no missed opportunities on the next one, and move on. Tapping the NQ 30-minute VWAP, getting above the NQ 5-minute 20 MA. It is above that trend line. Gapper is looking for 6,479 in the yes. Yeah, I'm trying to wait to see if they want to pull back a little bit, but I do believe in the NQ V-shape recovering just like the ES and tapping the gap. Now, will it happen now, this hour, next hour? Who knows? Also, news could come out and change that. Constant adaptations need to be made. Fed Bauman is speaking. What platform is this? NinjaTrader. Mark G, how long have you been trading? Half a decade, since 2020, 2021 during the AMC GME conversion event. Stay patient. Looking for. Yeah. Good luck, Gap. Appreciate the follow. Have Sue. Appreciate you. Charlotte, I don't deserve it right now, so I'm not gonna ask for it. Mark, do you love trading? Yes. Do I love trading right now? Yes. Do I love what I just did? Absolutely not. And it just takes, if you guys accrue a loss, you realize you need to go take a walk, or you just need to chill out for a minute and get that loss out of your mind, or you'll start chasing losses, and you don't want to do that. So out of experience, you take 20-30 minutes, pull off depending how big that was, and that tilted me quite a bit. Not full tilt, but enough where I would go chasing and probably blow one more account. Probably would have been fine, secure 2 profit, but one would ultimately blowing. I would have been averaging in too heavily, probably starting with 2. Make sure the work quantity is at 1. But I just know myself intimately. I've been in this situation millions of times. And today I literally predicted it on the dot. Didn't miss the execution on the VWAP. Thought it was wick up. Wasn't. It already tapped it. Then it fell 100 points. Would have profited all of it. Maybe not all, but I definitely would have held at least to 23,710. So that would have been a nice 70-point gain to start. And then I would have longed around that 22,653 level. Instead, I just almost said a bad word. I shorted for 10 points instead of just longing 1. It happens. It happens. Trying to move past it. We are always chasing. Maybe you guys. I usually start fresh every day. Very rarely do I accrue losses. I don't have week goals. I don't have day goals. I very rarely have month goals. Once the day is over, I get it out of my head pretty quick. Move on to the next. Gauge what tomorrow is going to do based on news, long-term, short-term. In this case, we have a lot of Trump, Putin, Vladimir Putin and Zelensky of Ukraine news. So that's going to dictate a lot. We also have a lot on the docket tomorrow. 2 p.m. FOMC meeting minutes, 1 p.m. US 20-year bond. Then EIA crude oil inventories, which isn't that big of a mover, but still there. 7 a.m. tomorrow, US MBA mortgage applications, target earnings. Pretty stacked week. U.S. Commerce Secretary Lutnick was speaking on CNBC. He said the NVIDIA CEO is fantastic. I'm sure he is pitching Trump all the time. We're weeks away from the Japan and Korea deal models. Documents on recent deals are weeks away. We must handle the Chinese risk. Putin and Saudi Crown Prince praise joint work in OPEC Plus. Back to Lutnick. We will fix the infrastructure that China competed away. Trump wants to turn money from Biden into equity. I want Intel to be successful in America. The Biden administration was giving Intel money for free. Trump isn't after governance or voting in exchange for the 10% stake in Intel. We like an America transistor built in America. Hopefully that Intel can make us participate in the chip space. We cannot rely on Taiwan to make our chips. Pretty obvious. Okay, so far, lower high, higher low, higher high in the run up so far. Will this create a higher low, prop up above the NQ30 minute VWAP, or will it continue to fall? If it breaks that key level 20,653, this is likely going down, 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 at least to the 620s. Pivot point near 23,588 to the downside. Yes, still is above the VWAP, 200 SMA, 100 MA, still above yesterday's close. The gap had already filled. One trade so far, Norman. One account blown. What's up, Peter? Gabber says, I don't love trading, but I hate going to a 9 to 5. So yeah, and I like money. Well, if you can wake up with 2 hours of sleep to trade, I would say you love it, or you're at least disciplined enough to force yourself to love it. Charlotte is far behind compared to TSM. Factories take a very long time to build. Rechip manufacturing. Yeah, but it's definitely the right step ahead to begin the process, at least. Also, the Taiwan chips are coming and being built here. I forget the CEO's name. The CEO of TSM, I believe. He invested. Do you use RSI? Yes, I do, Peter. Barn is 471 up today, taking it slow. Good job, Barn. Good stuff, good stuff. It is so strange how the worst days are the highest viewer days. It is the weirdest thing. Not the days where I'm literally scalping the market, making... It's just so peculiar. Very interesting. Trying to wait to see. Ultimately, I think the NQ is going to V-shape recover. I think it's going to fill the gap from yesterday's close at 23,797. But it has a lot to get through. It has the trend line up top, which it has rejected twice now. And then also the NQ 30-minute VWAP, NQ 5-minute 21 EMA. Has a lot to get through. Good job, Mark. Gapper got some wins, Barn. I believe Legend did as well. Is there any stock picks? I do not do that. I offer very, like, what I would personally do. Very rarely. I'm not a financial advisor, so I stay away from... I don't talk about meme coins that I'm potentially into. I don't talk about... I'm not here to shill anything or tell you guys what to buy, when to buy, how to buy. Elijah said ES gonna pop maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty proactive. Meanwhile, NQ is having some divergence, like a little bit behind. Ultimately bullish, but this could pop back down to that pivot point. This is trending up. It's been trending up for about 30 minutes. This could be considered a lower high. The pivot point that I personally mine is 23,653. But it also broke the trend line. And it's been respecting this 4 days now. Good job, Mark. Good job, Barn. Gaming, are the blue squares just so you can see the trend? They are for you guys. Visualization for you guys to see the trend. I only do that for stream. Crypto Fear Greed Index came out 56 out of 100 greed. Fear Greed Index for the stock market came out 64 out of 100 greed. Let's see if Trump tweeted. I would really love if Bitcoin came down to about 108, 106. And then I want ETH to come to about 4,106, about $100 off. Bitcoin dominance is coming to an end. We have the cross of doom as well. Fell below the pivot point. You have that other pivot point at 23,585. There's a lot of support in here. Yes, typing the VWAP 100 MA, 200 SMA. I think everyone would at this point, Turo, and we just have a situation where it went up to 24, then everyone would sell out and go back to 12, then the real holders would just hold for years and years and years. Quietly accumulate. Good night, Barn. Good night, good night. Appreciate it, man. I'm out taking the small win and put. Good job, Barn. Yes, may reject the 2 hours, may. VWAP. Nvidia is now down 1.7%, Google's down 1.2%, Amazon's down 1.2%, Microsoft is down 1.1%, Meta is down 1.6%, NQ futures are now down 0.7%. Bitcoin is now down 1.8%. ETH is down 2.5%. Solana is down 2%. XRP is down 3.5%. ES breaking and rejecting the VWAP 100 moving average, 200-day simple moving average. You have that pivot point to the downside through 23,606. I would like this to flush down to the second pivot point down here, 23,580. That's what I would like. But at that point, you probably be catching a falling knife. We'll see how quick you can do it. How much volatility, how much speed you can do it with. Nvidia is now down 2%. Tesla's up 1%. ATR is at 21, ramping up. The VIX is coming down as this falls. Turo's long at 581. Charlotte said Bitcoin and gold equals war hedge, peace equals not so much. That is true. I'm constantly looking at metals. This is the Nasdaq future indices, Meless. NQ 2-minute chart. Then I have NQ 5-minute chart, NQ 30-minute chart, ES 1 minute. Actually been a stunning trading day. Not for me, but this chart is beautiful, I can tell you that. 100-point wick down to start. We haven't seen that in a while. Then perfect 50% recovery. Then straight wick down. Liquidity sweep to the bottom of that pivot point. Go to the actual target, sweep it a little bit, and then pump back up. Tap the VWAP again. Just beautiful bounces today. Walking the dog and have alerts out for 600 and wondering. Let's see. When did NQ hit 581? I believe he's talking about the regular NQ, not the future indices. I think so. Or he could have just misspoke. I'm not sure. I was wondering that too. But I just let it go. Let it go into the sunset. Oh, you're longing 581. All right, that makes a lot more sense. Nah, Gap, he's longing at 581. I might have misread it. Giannis would like Bitcoin to come back down to 5K. Wouldn't we all? Wouldn't we all? Man. That would be very beautiful. Very stunning, very astute. Very astute. We have a very similar target in mind, Turo. Very similar. Very, very similar. I'm getting mine based off these. And zoom in. Right here. It's a little flush down. Could even go all the way down here to the 547s. Depends if it wants to do liquidity sweeps or not. Also depends how quick it's going to wick down or not. If it goes slow, it'll probably go further. It did reject a lot of key levels today, so we are, if we're longing down here, if I'm longing down here, I will be catching a falling knife, and the risk just goes up and up and up. Your trend line corresponds with a fair value gap 15-minute. Oh, geez, Jan. Yawny. Day Wallace up 500 today on the mini ES. Thanks, brother. I did nothing today, D Wallace. That is all you, my friend. Right, like absolute garbage today so far. Tides can turn. Tides can turn for sure. That is all you. Definitely 100%. Good job, D Wallace. Love to hear that. Why do NQ and ES mirror each other? I mean, don't really have a good answer for that. Only thing I was about to say is they're the biggest indices in the US. So investors probably 50-50 them, institutional and retail, when going into ETFs and stuff. The S&P 500 is the top 500 companies in the US. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq is the top 100 on the Nasdaq, I believe. These fine details, man. Could find out. These fine details. We'll find out in a minute. The S&P 500 is a stock market index tracking that the performance of the 500 large publicly traded companies in the U.S., covering various sectors like technology, finance, healthcare, and consumer goods. It's considered a broad measure of the U.S. economy and is market cap weighted. Meanwhile, larger companies like Apple or Microsoft have a bigger impact on the index. The Nasdaq 100 is an index of 100 of the largest non-financial companies listed on the Nasdaq exchange, heavily weighted towards technology and growth stocks such as Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Nvidia. It's also market cap weighted, but focuses more on tech and innovation driven firms. Why do the NQ and ES mirror each other? Overlap in constituents, market sentiment, tech sector influence, liquidity, and trading. While they often mirror each other, differences arise because the Nasdaq 100 is more volatile due to its focus on growth and tech stocks, which are sensitive to interest rate changes and earnings expectations. The S&P 500 is more diversified, including sectors like financial and industrial, which may respond differently to certain economic conditions. So how I view the Nasdaq and how I've always viewed it is just tech stocks. Tech stocks. This said largest non-financial companies, that makes sense, but I just view the Nasdaq 100 as the tech stock indices. That's the easiest way to view it. And then the S&P 500 is just the largest, best. Think of the best 500 companies performing stock-wise, just amalgamation into one. That is the S&P 500. That's the Nasdaq 100. Why they mirror each other? Because supposedly the tech stocks are also in the S&P 500. Whatever. We're about to hit the target. But they mirror each other pretty well. Today they had divergence, to be fair. ES filled the gap, V-shape recovered, and Q did not. So far. Appreciate it, Starter. Why is it going down though? Any news I missed? Not really. Trump is setting up a trilateral meeting. I'm in with one contract long, tapping that pivot point down 80, down 70. You're catching the falling knife.
Order filled.
Adding one there. Down 200, down 300. A nice liquidity sweep. It's also falling pretty hard. Two contracts long. We're catching it. U.S. copper firms hike prices even after Trump tariff reprises, whatever. Up 50, up 70, up 100, up 150. About to tap that pivot point. Up 300, up 400, up 10 points. Nvidia is trying to come up. Come on, baby. Quick to your home. This may just keep waterfalling. ES created a new low. So the Nasdaq 300, 400, 500, two contracts long. Up 10 points. I feel it's the day before the FOMC meeting minutes. I do believe the market is starting to predict no rate cut soon. 500. Waiting for the wake up. Taking one there. Moving the other one, break even. Moving it below that pivot point. Going to trail tight. A 500 at 550. Trailing it tight. About to be stopped. And
Order filled.
stopped out. Made 385. Believe it has some more downside. Could be wrong. Be really nice if it tapped 508. Atlanta Fed GDP now index falls to 2.26 from 2.55. That's so tight. That's exactly how I like it. You guys should not be trading with you. Appreciate it, Norman. You guys need to be holding your own conviction. I am not a financial advisor. Anything you guys, anything I say or do is not financial advice. It's for entertainment, educational purposes only. Do not follow me. Do not FOMO. Do not overtrade. And there are no missed opportunities. Only the next one. Okay, we're pulling back. What time frame? It's so zoomed in. I just do that when we're not in a trade. Also, it helps with a short. Haven't seen a video fall this much in a long time, but it's trying. Rip Palantir. I'll be back. Persephile D is the life. Jera, Sua, Deborah. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Good luck to all. I'm taking my money and skirting. Appreciate it, Todd. Taking my money and skirting. Man. Appreciate it, Todd. Thanks, stopping by. Thanks for constantly being active. Appreciate it, man. Braden says, what's the right one saying? Gabber said 23,450, but I'm not sure if that's a prediction. I'm assuming that's what you're meaning. The right one, the chosen one. The beast, I just need to make 358 today to pass my fund it. There are no missed opportunities, only the next one. Got a feeling one more leg down, but this may go here. Apple is about to flip red. Apple flipped red. Right one, Turo said, right one saying the weather is good tomorrow. Gabber said that's if 590 doesn't get reclaimed. I'm in with one long. It's only going to be one for a while. This may want to wick down, may reject. Probably not going to be holding this for that long either. Beta is coming up, Apple flip back green. ES is coming up, RSI above the MA. We'll see. I kind of think one more laid down, but could be wrong. Up 60, up 50. Thank you, 5-minute bouncing. ATR is at 23. Volatility index is ramping up. Up 70, up 80, up 100. One contract long. The big Benja longers. Legend says, hey, we long at the same time. I even with the stream delay. Make sure you guys are holding your own convictions and not following me, man. Not follow me. Market could very easily keep waterfalling. We are down around 300 points, 200 points from yesterday's close. So far, it is waterfalling. Does not mean it has to continue, but the R against it. It has to get through a lot. Up 150. Boom, 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 boom. Stalling out a little bit. Unsure legend. We'll see how I feel. So far, everything's propping up, so I may hold to the ES taps to VWAP. We'll see. I'm not liking how the NQ 5-minute stalling. Has potential. Nvidia trying to fall. ES trying to go, go, go. Up 225, up 230, up 250. About to tap that pivot point to the upside, 23,606. I'll probably take this at the 20 EMA or the ES VWAP, whichever comes first. Yeah, that's a crazy ledge. Just because it looks bullish does not mean it's bullish. The Sankey 30-minute is very horrendous for the bulls. Yeah, starting to get whacked down. What platform are you trading on? Zion. I'm trading on Ninja Trader. Ninja Trader. I have more room for some overshoot to add another long, but we'll see. Yep. It's pulling back, rejecting that trend line. Was support trend line, now resistance. May want to come all the way down to 23,514. Tapping that pivot point. Apple is still coming up. They could continue the waterfall here. Down 190, down 200. Down 300, down 350. Apple's about to flip red. Palantir's down 6.6%. ES about to create a low low. And Q about to create a low low. Down 14 points. Down 400, down 450, down 500. The beast, I use TradingView. There's a watch list on TradingView.
Order filled.
I'm in with 1. I'll be in with 2 on that trend line. It's a starting a waterfall. I'm gonna give it a minute. I'm gonna ramp it up soon. Looking for a wick down a little bit. Down 800, down 750. Not looking for a bounce right here. A little further down. Not too far.
Order filled.
I'm in with 6 contracts long, looking for a bounce. ES trying to go. We'll see. Not gonna hold this for long. Down 1600, down 13. Down 2000. Boom, 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 boom. Down 15 points. Down 3,000, 6 contracts long. Giving it room. Not much.
Order filled.
Full porting.
Order filled.
And account blown. It is not my day today. And it is what it is. So everyone here for trading, we are no longer trading. Read the market perfect before market open. And it's just not my day. I'm not going to make this loss any worse. We'll come back tomorrow. It is what it is. I am going to rewatch some news though. It is time to wrap it up on trading before I just blow every single account. This did not come first. This came first. Trading is done for the day. That's for sure. And it's not the market, it's me. Don't think I'm not taking accountability. It's fully 100% me.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have the president of Ukraine with us. We've had a lot of good discussions, a lot of good talks, and I think progress is being made, very substantial progress in many ways. We had a good meeting, as you know, just a short while ago with the president of Russia, and I think there's a possibility that something could come out of it, and today's meeting is very important. We have, I guess, the seven very powerful leaders from Europe, and we're going to be meeting with them right after this meeting. And thank you very much for being here.
Thanks so much.
You guys are just tuning in. This is President Trump participating in a bilateral meeting with the president of Ukraine, Zelensky. This was done yesterday.
President, if I can, first of all, thank
Please.
you for invitation, and thank you very much for your efforts, personal efforts to stop killings and stop this war. Thank you. And using this opportunity, many thanks to your wife, the First Lady of the United States. She sent a letter to Putin about our children, abducted children, and my wife, she, First Lady of Ukraine, she gave the letter. It's not to you, to your wife.
Oh, I want it.
Yeah. So we are saying this sensitive topic, yes, please. And thanks to our partners, and that you supported this format, that after our meeting we can have leaders who are around us, UK and France, Germany, Italy, Finland, EU, NATO, I mean all partners around Ukraine supporting us. Thanks them, and thank you very much for invitation.
Thank you very much for being here.
President Trump.
Yes, Peter, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. So, President Zelensky, you say in a post on X today, Russia must end this war, which it itself started. President Trump, you say President Zelensky of Ukraine can end the war with Russia almost immediately if he wants to. Which is it?
Yeah, I think that's true. I think we're going to have a meeting. I think if everything works out well today, we'll have a trilat. And I think there will be a reasonable chance of ending the war when we do that.
And is this the end of the road for American support for Ukraine? Is today's meeting deal or no deal?
I can never say that. It's never the end of the road. People are being killed, and we want to stop that. So I would not say it's the end of the road. No, I think we have a good chance of doing it. It's been almost 4 years now that a lot of people were killed last week. A lot of people last week. I mean, millions of people killed, but a lot of people last week for whatever reason. A big number, a lot of soldiers, on both sides. And I know the president, I know myself, and I believe Vladimir Putin wants to see it ended.
And as you met with Putin on Friday, today you've got President Zelensky here. As you listen to Russia and Ukraine, which side has the better cards
Well, I don't want to say that. I'm just here to be. Look, this isn't my war. This is Joe Biden's war. He's the one that had a lot to do with this happening, and we want to get it ended. And we want it to end good for everybody. We want it to end good. The people of Ukraine have suffered incredibly.
President Zelensky, are you prepared to keep sending Ukrainian troops to their deaths for another couple years, or are you going to agree to redraw the maps?
Thank you for your question. So, first of all, we live under each day attacks. That today have been a lot of attacks and a lot of wounded people, and the child was dead, small one year and a half. So we need to stop this war, to stop Russia, and we need support, American and European partners, and we will do our best for this. So, and I think we show that we are strong people, and we supported the idea of the United States, personally of President Trump, to stop this war, to make a diplomatic way of finishing this war, and we are ready for trilateral, as President said. This is a good signal about trilateral. I think this is very good. Thank you.
Mr. President,
If the peace deal will be achieved, are you going to be willing to send American peacekeepers to Ukraine?
Well, we're going to work with Ukraine. We're going to work with everybody, and we're going to make sure that if there's peace, the peace is going to stay long term. This is very long term. We're not talking about a 2-year peace and then we end up in this mess again. We're going to make sure that everything's good. We'll work with Russia. We're going to work with Ukraine, and we're going to make sure it works. And I think if we can get to peace, it's going to work. I have no doubt about it.
Your team has talked about security guarantees. Could that involve U.S. troops? Would you rule that out in the future?
We'll let you know that maybe later today. We're meeting with 7 great leaders of great countries also, and we'll be talking about that. They'll all be involved. But
whose war is it, Gap? Not a Biden fan at all, but it's not Joe Biden's war. It's then Zelensky's and Russia's war.
There'll be a lot of help when it comes to security. There's going to be a lot of help. It's going to be
Russia and Ukraine war period. They are. Gabber says this is a Russian-Ukraine war period. Maybe the EU too.
Our first line of defense because they're there. They're Europe, but we're going to help them out also. We'll be involved. Yes.
Vladimir Putin mentioned that the war will not end without addressing the root causes of this war. Have you had an understanding what are the root causes of this war?
Well, look, the war is going to end. When it ends, I can't tell you, but the war is going to end, and this gentleman wants it to end, and Vladimir Putin wants it to end. I think the whole world is tired of it, and we're going to get it ended. It was, I've done 6 wars. I've ended 6 wars, and I thought this maybe would be the easiest one, and it's not the easiest one. It's a tough one. A lot of reasons for it, and they'll be talking about it for a long time. But they'll be talking about the others. Look, India, Pakistan. We're talking about the big places. When you look at, you just take a look at some of these wars. You go to Africa and take a look at that. Rwanda and the Congo, Republic of the Congo. That's been going on for 31 years. And so we've done a total of 6, and we really have 6, not including the fact that we obliterated, and it turned out to be a total obliteration, the nuclear, as you said, the future nuclear capability of Iran. And this one, I think we're going to get solved also. I feel confident we're going to get it solved.
Thanks, Mr. President. Can you tell us about your conversations with European leaders and what they need to see to support an end to the war?
Yeah, well, we're going to be meeting with a great representative group and 7 very powerful, very big countries and great people, all friends of mine and friends of yours. And we're going to have some suggestions made. They want to see peace. They would like to see peace. Go ahead, please?
said last
In the
night
red,
that-
in the red.
President Trump, do you think it's fair for Ukraine and for Russia to achieve a lasting and durable peace if Ukraine cedes its territories that Russia hasn't yet conquered? Do you think it's a fair peace for Ukraine?
We're going to have a lasting peace. Just to answer the first part of your question, we're going to have a lasting peace. I hope it's going to be immediately. I hope it doesn't have to go on. And I think people of the whole world is going to be very happy when that's announced. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, you posted on social media, Mr. President, a very touching letter from the First Lady, and the letter was hand-delivered to President Putin, and it calls for an end to the war, essentially, because of the children and the children's future. Why did the First Lady feel that letter was necessary? Was it because she believes that Mr. Putin is the aggressor in the war? Is a similar letter being hand-delivered to President Zelensky?
So the First Lady felt very strongly. She's watched the same thing that you watch and that I watch. I see things that you don't get to see, and it's horrible. But when she's got a great love of children, she has a wonderful son that she loves, probably more than anybody, including me. I hate to say it, but she loves her son. She loves children. And she hates to see something like this happening, and that goes for other wars too. I mean, she sees the heartbreak, the parents, the funerals that you see on television. Always funerals. We want to see something other than funerals. No, she felt it was a beautiful letter. It was very well received by him, and she did ask me to say, you know, she would love to see this end. She would love to see it end, and she says it very openly, very proudly, and with great sorrow because so many people have been killed.
Last week,
Brian, go ahead, Brian.
Yes, sir. I've got a question for each of you. First of all, Mr. President Zelensky, you look fabulous in that suit.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, you look good.
I said the same thing.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? That's the one that attacked you last time. See, now he's.
I remember that.
You look wonderful. No, my first question for you, President Zelensky.
In the same suit. You see, I changed. You are not.
Maybe yours is much better. Real quickly, upon peace, God willing, we get peace. Are you open to holding an election in your country?
Yes, of course. We are open for election, yes. We have to do safety circumstances, and a little bit we need to work in the parliament, because during the war you can't have elections, but we can do security. We need, maybe, how to say, we need a truth, yes, everywhere, in the battlefield, in the sky, in the sea, yeah, to make possible for people to do democratic, open, legal elections.
So you say during the war you can't have elections. So let me just say 3.5 years from now. So you mean if we happen to be in a war with somebody, no more elections? Oh, that's good. I wonder what the fake.
You like this idea?
No. Speaking of news, I got a question for you. This sounds insane for me even to ask this, but do you think the American media really doesn't even want a peace deal because they've been so critical of you every step of the way as you lead the charge for peace?
It's an amazing phenomenon. I said that if in the settlement you got Moscow, St. Petersburg, and thousands of miles around them, they would say I made a bad deal. The level of hatred and animosity is incredible. Not with all. I mean, we have great people up here. We also have terrible people up there that I think are told what to say. But, you know, in solving all of these wars, they don't even write about it. You know, I saw major wars. I saw wars that have been going on for 31, 35, and 37, and a couple of quicker ones. One that was going to go into a full-blown deal very quickly. You know what the one I'm talking about. It was a big one. But they don't even write about that.
I believe he was referencing India and Pakistan. They supposedly shot out 6 planes or something like that. I could be wrong, allegedly. But that war was escalating quick, and supposedly Trump, I don't know. I mean, I would assume now, I haven't seen anything against what Trump is saying, and the news would definitely report it, but supposedly Trump saw that with trade, said if you guys continue, we'll stop trade, etc., etc.
No matter what I do, no matter what, and you know, this is not anything to do with you. It's probably to your advantage in a certain way. But no matter what I do, no matter what deal I make, from my standpoint, you'll come out good. Maybe President Putin will come out good. But they'll say, Trump was absolutely horrible. It's just that, and I've lived with that for a long time. I've lived with it since just before the first election. I used to get great publicity. Now I get the worst publicity anyone's ever gotten in office, but I won in a landslide, so that people understand. They're the only ones that count, ultimately. But I've also had great reporters. I've had journalists that are very good. But it's very sad when you do the right thing. As an example, they said, because of the fact that Vladimir Putin came to American soil, this was a tremendous defeat for Donald Trump. No, it was really wonderful that he did it. It was a hard thing for him to do, to be honest with you. It was the opposite of what they said, but they said it. Now, if he didn't come, they'd say that was also bad for Trump. You know, there's no way. And there's just a great dishonesty of the press, and I think that's why it's lost its credibility. You know, its credibility is at an all-time low. We have a thing going on right now in D.C. We went from the most unsafe place anywhere to a place that now friends are calling me up, Democrats are calling me up, and they're saying, sir, I want to thank you. My wife and I went out to dinner last night for the first time in 4 years, and Washington, D.C. is safe, and you did that in 4 days. I'll tell you, it's safe. I had another friend of mine, he has a son who's a great golfer, he's on tour, and he came in fourth yesterday in the big tournament where Scotty Scheffler made the great shot, and he said his son is going to dinner in Washington, D.C. tonight. I said, would you have allowed that to happen a year ago? He said, no way, no way. He said, what you've done is incredible. And I think the people realize it. But the press says, he's a dictator, he's trying to take over. No, all I want is security for our people. But people that haven't gone out to dinner in Washington, D.C. in 2 years are going out to dinner. And the restaurants the last 2 days were busier than they've been in a long time. Thank you for that.
I walked around yesterday with MTG. If you can walk around with DC with MTG and not be attacked, the city is safe.
Yes.
Right. Thank you, Mr. President. Last week you warned of what you called severe consequences if a 30-day ceasefire or any type of ceasefire were not agreed to by Russia. Will there be severe consequences? Does that change because
I don't think you need a ceasefire. You know, if you look at the 6 deals that I settled this year, they were all at war. I didn't do any ceasefires. And I know that it might be good to have, but I can also understand strategically why, well, you know, one country or the other wouldn't want it. You have a ceasefire and they rebuild and rebuild and rebuild, and, you know, maybe they don't want that. But if you look at the 6 deals that we made peace and you know, long-term, long-running wars, I didn't do any ceasefires. Would I like the concept. You know, I like the concept of a ceasefire for one reason, because you'd stop killing people immediately, as opposed to in 2 weeks or 1 week or whatever it takes. But we can work a deal where we're working on a peace deal while they're fighting. They have to fight. I wish they could stop. I'd like them to stop. But strategically, that could be a disadvantage for one side or the other. But all of these deals I made without even the mention of the words ceasefire.
JJY, welcome to The Insiders.
JJ, today is an interesting day. Probably the worst trading day. Not the worst, but probably top 3 worst trading days for me. I appreciate you. Welcome to the Insiders, JJ. Hopefully you find the go to my profile, go to the post section. There's a lot of good value analysis, etc., etc. Welcome. Hopefully you enjoy the Trump emote. You can spam that right now while we're watching him. Jerome Powell, etc., etc. Appreciate it, man. Welcome to the Insiders.
Can you explain the decision to offer Ukraine Article 5 like security guarantees, but stop short of pushing for their full membership?
Yeah, well, we haven't done anything on that yet. If you look back and you go back long before President Putin, it was always a statement that they would never allow Ukraine into NATO. So that was a statement that was made, but we haven't discussed any of that yet. We're going to be discussing it today, but we will give them very good protection, very good security. That's part of it. And the people that are waiting for us, they are I think they're very like-minded. They want to help out also.
Thank you, President Trump. The United States has already given hundreds of billions of dollars to this war effort in Ukraine.
Biden.
At best, it is a stalemate, and the killing continues. So, President Trump, how much more is the United States willing to give Ukraine? And President Zelensky, how much more?
What's up, JJ? Appreciate it, Ledge. Lies, all lies. Trump is so modest. I don't know about that one, but sure. Starting, feel really good about selling a chunk of my ETH last week. You definitely tapped it at all-time highs. That's for sure. Now, will it continue up? I'm kind of, if it drops below that 4,100 level, you have a pretty good chance of that remaining all-time highs for this cycle. But I'm slightly thinking of a bounce. I really think it may go up, but today I may be delusional.
What do you want?
Well, I'll start off just by saying we're not giving anything now. We're selling weapons.
Panto, I appreciate you.
This is something before, I guess the number is well over $300 billion. That was under Joe Biden, a corrupt politician, not a smart man, never was. By the way, go back 40 years. He was not a smart man 40 years ago either, but now he's in particular bad. This was done by a corrupt administration that shouldn't have been in, and frankly, if the right results of the election were given, if I were president, this war would have never taken place, and he would have been very happy because he would have liked to have seen. I mean, they went through hell. He went through hell. This war would have never happened, and the people that were killed, a couple of million people, a lot of people with soldiers and everything else, and the people that have been displaced and forced into other areas and other countries because of what's happened, none of that would have happened. And I'm just saying that he was a horrible president, whether it was the borders or this. He was just a horrible, corrupt president.
Mr. President,
you want to answer?
I can. Thank you so much. So first of all, we have possibility now to buy weapon from the United States. We are thankful for this program and this opportunity. We are thankful for Europe. They pay for this. And through NATO program, for example, Pearl and etc., we have some programs where we can have some money to finance this. And this is a part, I think, it's not a part for the war and to defend us. It also will be a part for security guarantees, to strengthen our army, to rearm Ukrainian army. This is very, very important. And it depends how much money we need to rearm. For example, the question of air defense, we spoke about it with President Trump, and I'm happy that we have now bilateral decisions and we work on it with production, American production. Nobody in Europe has so many air defense like Patriots, for example. We need it very much, and this is also about defending.
And I think, I think the good news, we make the best military equipment in the world by far. You mentioned the Patriots. How good are they?
Systems.
We have systems, they're literally 100% foolproof. And it's really like shooting two bullets, two bullets hitting each other in the air in a space like this. The chance is 100%. It's 99 to 100%. So we sell the equipment to NATO. And NATO does what, I don't know what the arrangement is that you have with, but I know that they want you to have the equipment. And we're getting the best equipment in the world, but they pay us for the equipment. Under Biden, it was just crazy what was going on. I believe the number is over 300. I think it could be $350 billion worth of equipment and money and everything else. And we've made more progress in settling this war in the last 2 months than they made in 4 years. This should have been settled a long time ago, but it should have never happened. Yeah, please.
You pushed out on social media.
Brian, go first.
You pushed out on social media about doing away with mail-in ballots and potentially electronic voting machines. Can you expand on that?
Well, that's a very off topic, just really quickly. Mail-in ballots are corrupt. Mail-in ballots, you can never have a real democracy with mail-in ballots. And we, as a Republican Party, are going to do everything possible that we get rid of mail-in ballots. We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots because they're corrupt and Do you know that we're the only country in the world, I believe, I may be wrong, but just about the only country in the world that uses them because of what's happened, massive fraud all over the place. The other thing we want change are the machines. For all of the money they spend, it's approximately 10 times more expensive than paper ballots. And paper ballots are very sophisticated with the watermark paper and everything else. We would get secure elections. We'd get much faster results. The machines, I mean, they say we're going to have the results in 2 weeks. With paper ballots, you have the results that night. Most people, many countries use paper ballots. It's the most secure form. So between paper ballots, very, very important, paper ballots, and I think maybe even more important, the mail-in voting. We're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud. If you have mail-in vote, even Jimmy Carter with this commission, they set it up. He said the one thing about mail-in voting, you will never have an honest election if you have mail-in. And it's time that the Republicans get tough and stop it because the Democrats want it. It's the only way they can get elected. Because with men and women's sports and with transgender for everybody and open borders and all of the horrible things, and now the new thing is they love crime. They're fighting me on the fact that I've made Washington, D.C. safe. We're not going to get mugged, beaten up, or killed like all the people you've been watching get so badly hurt. I'm glad, I hate to take your time on this, but I'm glad you asked me that question. Sorry. We're going to stop mail-in ballots because it's corrupt. You know, when you go to a voting booth and you do it the right way and you go to a state that runs it properly, you go in, they even ask me. They asked me for my license plate, for identify. I said, I don't know if I have it. He said, sir, you have to have it. I was very impressed, actually. But it's very hard to cheat with mail-in voting. As you know what happens in California, it's so corrupt, where some people get 5, 6, 7 ballots delivered to them. Now, we got to stop mail-in voting, and the Republicans have to lead the charge. The Democrats want it because they have horrible policy. If you have mail-in voting, you're not going to have many Democrats get elected. That's bigger than anything having to do with redistricting, believe me. And the Republicans have to get smart. We're not going to have a country. I said for a long time at rallies, you need borders and you need free and fair elections. Those two things, otherwise you don't have. We have strong borders now. In 90 days, Mr. President, we didn't have 1, 0, 0, and 3 months. Not one person came in illegally into our country. In fact, even I find that hard to believe, but it's run by a little bit of a liberal group that put out the numbers, so I guess it's, but 0, 0, and 0. You go back a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 millions of people poured into our country. It was terrible. Thank you very much.
What security guarantees do you need from President Trump to be able to make a deal? Is it American troops, intelligence, equipment? What is it?
Everything. And really, it includes 2 parts. First, strong Ukrainian army. That's what I began to discuss with your colleagues. And it's a lot about weapon and then people and training missions and intelligence. And second, we will discuss with our partners. It depends on the big countries, on the United States, on a lot of our friends.
And Mr. President, are you going to commit American troops to that NATO-like protection in order to get President Zelensky to a deal today?
Well, I don't know if you define it that way, but NATO-like, I mean, we have people waiting in another room right now. They're all here from Europe, biggest people in Europe, and they want to give protection. They feel very strongly about it, and we'll help them out with that. I think it's very important. I think it's very important to get the deal done.
You've been involved with the peacekeeping in Ukraine since your first day in the administration. What would you say to the Ukrainian people right now who are suffering under the Russian attacks and hoping that the American people will stand with them?
Well, I know Ukrainian people. I've known many over the years. They're great people. They're smart. They're energetic. They love their country. I mean, they love their country, and we want to get this war ended. That's all I can do. I love the Ukrainian people, but I love all people. I love the Russian people. I love them all. I want to get the war stopped. Very important.
Was there any aspect of your discussion with Vladimir Putin that left you disappointed?
Look, we just spoke to, I was just telling the president, I just spoke to President Putin indirectly, and we're going to have a phone call right after these meetings today. And we may or may not have a trilat. If we don't have a trilat, then the fighting continues. And if we do, we have a good chance. I think if we have a trilat, there's a good chance of maybe ending it. But he's expecting my call when we're finished with this meeting. Thank you very much, everybody.
That was President Trump participating in a bilateral meeting with the president of Ukraine, Zelensky. So a lot of key points, Obviously, Ukraine needs security. Putin earlier, if you watched yesterday, we watched the video from Friday when Trump and Putin met for the first time since Trump's second term in office in Alaska. And if you guys saw the walkout, I'll see if I can find a video. But the walkout, let me pull this up. Trump flew a B-2 bomber over Putin's head when he was in the U.S. See if I can find this on X. Here it is. So you see President Putin and Trump walking down the red. And the B-2 bomber followed by fighter jets right over Putin's head.
Isn't it just, it's such an incredible place. Well, we're building a big bowl. Beautiful. Right here. If you don't,
This is the following meeting right after that Ukraine meeting in the Oval Office. This is President Trump participating in a multilateral meeting with the European leaders.
We'd be right through that, right through here.
This is from yesterday.
I'll tell you, it's gonna be fantastic, actually.
I listen on 2x speed.
Yeah. Have you here? Special place. White House is special no matter where you're from. Represents so much, and it really is beautiful. And thank you for all of the wonderful things that took place today. We've had a very successful day thus far.
What do you mean, JJ? You keep on laying to offer us protection, which they masterminds? What do you mean, expand? Yeah, great video. Might push up higher. We'll see. ATR volatility is very low. We'll see.
Important discussions as we work to end the killing and stop the war in Ukraine. We're all working for the same goal. Very simple goal. We want to stop the killing, get this settled. I've just had the honor of being with President Zelensky and all of the discussions that we've had. We covered a lot of territory, and I spoke indirectly with President Putin today. We're going to call President Putin right after this meeting. I'm sure we're going to have a solid meeting, good meeting, maybe a great meeting, and we're going to try and work out a trilat after that and see if we can get it finished, put this to sleep, because this is not since the Second World War has there been anything like this. So I'm honored to welcome NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, who's a great gentleman, great political leader in Europe generally, but now he's the NATO Secretary General, and you're doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much, Mark. Prime Minister Starmer of the United Kingdom, our friend and my friend, and doing really well, and people like him a lot. We all like him. Everyone knows President Macron of France, who's been with me from the beginning, one of the first people I met as a foreign dignitary, and I liked him from day one. And I like him even more now. That's pretty good. That's unusual. That's a pretty unusual thing. Prime Minister Meloni of Italy, who's a really a great leader and an inspiration over there. She's served now, even though she's a very young person, she's served there for a long period of time relative to others. They don't last very long. You've lasted a long time. You're going to be there a long time. Chancellor Merz of Germany, who is a very strong person and a very strong leader and very highly respected in Germany. And he's my friend, and it's an honor to have him as my friend. Thank you very much. Very good. You look great with your tan. Where did you get that tan? I want to get a tan like that.
That's true.
President Stub of Finland, and
this is the most awkward thing that Trump has probably ever done. This is the president of Finland. He's calling him out, and where's watch?
He's somebody that, where are we here? Huh? Where?
I'm right here.
Oh, you look better than I've ever seen. Where?
Look at this. Look at this.
He's somebody that, where are we here? Huh? Where?
I'm right here.
Oh, you look better than I've ever seen you look.
Good.
But you've done a great job, and we wanted to have you here because you're somebody that we all respect.
What is a trilad? It's a three-person meeting. This is a multilateral meeting, meaning it can be as many as you want. A trilad is between three parties, aka Trump, Putin, Zelensky.
And
that's probably the roughest moment. Oof.
A lot to do with the success, I think, and the potential success. And thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it. And the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, who is somebody that we just made a big deal with all of those countries. I don't know. I think you might be more powerful than all these guys at this table. I don't know. But we had a great negotiation, and you're respected all over the world. So I want to thank you very much for being here. It's a great honor to have you. The Alaska Summit reinforced my belief that while difficult, peace is within reach, and I believe that in a very significant step, President Putin agreed that Russia would accept security guarantees for Ukraine, and this is one of the key points that we need to consider, and we're going to be considering that at the table also, like who will do what, essentially. I'm optimistic that collectively we can reach an agreement that would deter any future aggression against Ukraine, and I actually think there won't be. I think that's even overrated, largely overrated, but we're going to find out. And I think that the European nations are going to take a lot of the burden. We're going to help them, and we're going to make it very secure. We also need to discuss the possible exchanges of territory, taking into consideration the current line of contact. That means the war zone, the war lines that are pretty obvious, very sad actually to look at them, and negotiating positions. President Putin, also you have President of Ukraine, who is
if you are wondering, the chart has literally gone nowhere at all. So there's no point in trading this. We'll just trade it tomorrow, and it is what it is. Finish up this news.
You just met a little while ago, and we're going to try and get a three-party meeting, maybe as soon as we can. And I have a feeling you and President Putin are going to work something out. Ultimately, this is a decision that can only...
Bro, how do you look for news? I'm constantly on YouTube, but besides that, FinancialJuice, everything I use is below. But it just has a doc of the day, the real-time news. It had Trump speaking at 8 a.m., and just the highlights down here, boom, 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 then ends Fox News interview, Zelensky. I mean, it just has everything. Everything. Besides that, I find all this on YouTube. I'm constantly searching for news. Constantly.
Be made by President Zelensky and by the people of Ukraine working also together in agreement with President Putin. And I just think that's very good things are going to come of it. So I hope we have a good meeting. And if we can have a good meeting, I'll set up a meeting with President Putin. And if you'd like, I'll go to that meeting. And not that I want to do that, but I will do that because we want to save a lot of people from dying. A lot of people are dying, and we got to save them. We got to save it. 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people sometimes.
damn button. Legend said order filled at 534. Held on for a while, made 1K off 2 cons, work on the eval account. I hate the consistency rule, exactly. That's mainly why I trade personal account. Good job making the 1K though. Good stuff. Good start. John said, I tied my biggest day, green day from yesterday, with another record green day today. Best of luck, man. Appreciate it, John. Good stuff. Good stuff. Appreciate it, Legend. Appreciate FP.
Times a week. All of us would obviously prefer an immediate ceasefire while we work on a lasting peace, and maybe something like that could happen. As of this moment, it's not happening, but President Zelensky and President Putin can talk a little bit more about that. You know, in the 6 or so wars that we stopped, we haven't had a ceasefire, and so I don't know that it's necessary. You can do it through the war. But it would be, I like the ceasefire from another standpoint. You immediately stop the killing. But I believe a peace agreement at the end of all of this is something that's very attainable, and it can be done in the near future. With all of the wars that I got involved in, we only have this one left. Of course, as I walk out the door, there'll probably be a new one starting, and I'll get that stopped too. But I thought this was going to be one of the easier ones. It's actually one of the most difficult. They're very complex. The next step would be for a trilateral meeting, and that will be worked out. And I just look forward to working and having a great result. We're going to spend a lot of time today talking about, and we're really honored you guys came over. I mean, these are the heads of major countries and respected all over Europe. And they speak for, largely, I think I should say, but pretty much for the other countries of Europe. And we will come to a resolution today, I think, on almost everything, including probably the security. And that's pretty much the story. I'd like to say, Mr. President, would you like to say something? You have the media. If you want, you could come over and you could stand, you could use mine, or you could just turn around, whichever you feel comfortable with.
Thank you so much. I can speak without microphone. Thank you so much. I think that we had very good conversation with President Trump.
Very good.
And it really was the best one. Or sorry, maybe the best one will be in the future. But it was really good. And we spoke about very sensitive points. The first one is security guarantees. And we are very happy with President that all the leaders are here, and the security in Ukraine depends on the United States and on you and on those leaders who are with us. In our hearts, they have been online.
What is on Keir Starmer's lip? Does anyone know? Kind of looks like he got punched. There's like busted his lip open. Very interesting.
Before yesterday and etc. So a lot of countries on the side of Ukraine, our people and all of us want to finish this war, stop Russia and stop this war. We spoke about it, and we will speak more about security guarantees. This is very important that the United States gives such strong signal and is ready for security guarantees. The second point, or maybe the first, humanitarian direction, very important to exchange all the prisoners, and I think that President will help. And I was very thankful to your wife again, Mr. President, for the letter about our abducted children, and I hope that really it can be a historic role for the people to bring kids back to the families and be happy.
Get the people back, yeah.
Yes, this is so important, and I'm happy that we discussed it, this track with the President Trump, and I hope that we will find decisions. And then what is very important, that all the sensitive things, territorial, etc., we will discuss on the level of leaders during trilateral meeting, and President Trump will try to organize such meeting, and he said that he will come or not come. Ukraine will be happy if you will
both want me there, I will be there. Yeah,
yeah, you know, thank you. And I think this is very important. Yes, so security guarantees bringing.
Giannis says that's the Black Eye Club on Keir Starmer. Oof.
Kids back and all our people, not only warriors, first of all warriors, and all the civilians, journalists, a lot of people in prison. So we need them back. and guarantees which will work for the years. We spoke about it, and I showed the President a lot of details on the battlefield, on the map. Thank you so much. Thank you for the map, by the way.
Good map.
It was great. Yeah. I'm thinking how to take it back.
We'll get you.
No. I think that we had constructive, specific meeting, and I'm very thankful to all the leaders who are here, and you help a lot, and so we're happy that we have such big unity today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much,
for hosting us.
Mr. President. I think you'll see that President Putin really would like to do something else. I think when we set that up, when we do, I think it's going to be when, not if. I think you're going to see some really positive moves. I know there's over 1,000 prisoners, and I know they're going to release them. Maybe they're going to release them very soon, like immediately, which I think is great. But we're going to set that up today after this meeting. So very good and great remarks. I appreciate it. Mark, as head of NATO, maybe you could say a few words, please.
Yes, I will be very brief. I really want to thank you, President of the United States, dear Donald, for the fact that you, as I said before, broke the deadlock basically with President Putin by starting that dialogue. And I think it was in February that you had the first phone call, and from there we are now where we are today. And that is, I think if we play this well, we could end this. And we have to end this. We have to stop the killing. We have to stop the destruction of Ukraine's infrastructure. It is a terrible war. So I'm really excited. And let's make the best out of today and make sure that from today onwards, we get this thing to an end as soon as possible. I really want to thank you for your leadership, what you are doing for Volodymyr, but of course also all the European colleagues. It is really crucial. And the fact that you have said, I'm willing to participate in the security guarantees is a big step. It's really a breakthrough, and it makes all the difference. So also thank you for that.
Well, NATO also has agreed from 2% to 5%, which is something that is a massive amount of money. And it's 2% that wasn't always paid to 5% that is paid. That's a big difference. And so we appreciate that. That was a great move. Thank you very much. Ursula, maybe on behalf of the Commission, you could say a couple of words.
Yes. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. And it's a very important moment. Indeed, we are here, Europeans, as friends and allies. We had a fantastic NATO summit together as the two.
Muted again. Peter, I am live every day at 9:30 a.m. EST, trading the market every weekday. Every day the market is open, 9:30 a.m. EST. Regardless, we will be here.
Largest and biggest economies in the world. We had the largest trade deal ever agreed, and now we are here to work together with you on a just and lasting peace for Ukraine. Stop the killing. This is really our common interest. Stop the killing. And indeed, it's very good to hear that we're working on the security guarantees, Article 5 lies security guarantees, so important. But I want to thank you also that you mentioned the thousands of Ukrainian children that have been.
Holy double chin of doom. I see that. Hold on.
Guarantees, Article 5 lies security guarantees, so important. But I want to thank you also that you mentioned.
Boom. Look at the double chin of doom, man.
The thousands of Ukrainian children that have been abducted. And as a mother and grandmother, every single child has to go back to its family. This should be one of our main priorities also in these negotiations, to make sure that the children come back to Ukraine, to their families.
Thank you. And we did. I was just thinking we're here for a different reason, but we just a couple of weeks ago made the largest trade deal in history. So that's a big thing, and congratulations. That's great. Thank you very much, Ursula. Mr. Chancellor from Germany, a very great leader.
Mr. President,
Please.
dear Donald, many thanks for having us today. I think this is extremely helpful that we are meeting and hearing that the two of you are having such a good meeting today here in Washington. The next steps ahead are the more complicated ones now. The path is open. You opened it last Friday. But now the way is open for complicated negotiations. And to be honest, we all would like to see a ceasefire, the latest from the next meeting on. I can't imagine that the next meeting would take place without a ceasefire. So let's work on that, and let's try to put pressure on Russia, because the credibility of these efforts we are undertaking today are depending on at least a ceasefire from the beginning of the serious negotiations from next step on. So I would like to emphasize this aspect and would like to see a ceasefire from the next meeting, which should be a trilateral meeting wherever it takes place.
Well, we're going to let the president go over and talk to the president, and we'll see how that works out, and if we can do that. I will say, and again I say it, in the 6 wars that I've settled, I haven't had a ceasefire. We just got into negotiations, and one of the wars was, as you know, in the Congo was 31 years long. Another one that we settled last week with 2 great countries was 35 years going on, and we had no ceasefire. So if we can do the ceasefire, great. And if we don't do a ceasefire, because many other points were given to us, many points were given to us, great points. Please, Georgia, go ahead.
Well, thank you very much, Donald, Mr. President, for hosting us today in this important meeting. And I think it is an important day, a new phase, after 3 years and a half that we didn't see any kind of sign from the Russian side that there was a willing for dialogue. So something is changing, something has changed, thanks to you. Thanks also to the stalling in the battlefield, which was achieved with the bravery of Ukrainians and with the unity that we all provided to Ukraine. And the reason why I mention it is that we also have to remind that if we want to reach peace and if we want to guarantee justice, we have to do it united. So that's why it's a very good day, the one we are in. You can obviously count on Italy as it was from the beginning. We are on the side of Ukraine, and we do absolutely support your efforts towards peace. We will talk about many important topics. The first one is security guarantees, how to be sure that it won't happen again, which is the precondition of every kind of peace. I'm happy that we will discuss about that. I'm happy that we will begin from a proposal, which is the, let's say, Article 5 model, which was Italian at the beginning. So we are always ready to bring our proposals for peace, for dialogue. It's something we have to build together to guarantee peace and to defend the security of our nation. So thank you, Mr. President, for hosting us.
Thank you very much. Emmanuel?
Thank you, Mr. President, for organizing this meeting and for your commitment. And everything was said, but I just have to say here, everybody around this table is in favor of peace. And we work very hard, and we've worked very hard during the past few years to have a peace which is a robust and long-standing peace. This is why the idea of a trilateral meeting is very important, because this is the only way to fix it. And by the way, I think as a follow-up, we would need probably a quadrilateral meeting, because when we speak about security guarantees, we speak about the whole security of the European continent. And this is why we are all united here with Ukraine on this matter. In order to organize such a trilateral meeting, your idea to ask for a truce or a ceasefire, at least to stop the killings, as we discussed, is a necessity. And we all support this idea. And in order to have such a long-standing peace for Ukraine and for the whole continent, we do need these security guarantees. And the first one is clearly a credible Ukrainian army for the years and decades to come. And the second one is our own commitment, all of us. And we worked very hard during the past few months amongst the coalition of the willings, with the support of NATO, to build.
Do you guys think this ceasefire or this war is going to come to an end? I mean, this is a meeting from yesterday. President Trump participated in a multilateral meeting with the European leaders. And they, after this, he called Putin. They are still in the works of setting up a trilateral meeting between Trump, Putin, and Zelensky. Do you think it's actually going to come to an end? I don't know.
The different pillars.
There was a lot of ego boosting from Putin when he spoke in Alaska. Now it could have been Trump edging him to say them things, confirming some of the political things he ran on. If he was president in 2020, the war wouldn't start it. Putin said that, affirming what Trump has been saying basically in every rally since before he became second-term president. I don't know.
Of security guarantees and our commitments, and you can be sure that
all depends on Putin. Putin was glazing Trump with no clue, to be honest. It's kind of where I'm at. Have you heard audio leak of Trump? He says to French president that Putin wants to do a deal for him. So he's in Trump's head. Yeah, there was a lot of smoke and mirrors. Now it all could be a deploy. I don't know. I'm unsure.
The Europeans are very lucid about the fact that they have their fair share in these security guarantees for Ukraine, but their own security is clearly at stake in this situation. So you can count on us as we can count.
Appreciate you. Russia's goal is to take control of Ukraine, and they must achieve it, lol.
Count on you in order to deliver this robust peace for both Ukraine and Europe.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Mr. Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you for hosting us here. Can I start where Emmanuel started, which is we all want peace. The war in Ukraine has had a huge impact, particularly on the Ukrainians who've borne the brunt of it, but it's also had an impact on Europe and on the United Kingdom. There's not a family or community that hasn't been affected. And when we talk about security, we're talking about the security not just of Ukraine, we're talking about the security of Europe and the United Kingdom as well, which is why this is such an important issue. I think this is such an important meeting. As a group, I think we've had a discussion on the phone a number of times, Mr. President, but be able now to be around the table to take it forward. And I really feel that we can, I think, with the right approach this afternoon, make real progress, particularly on the security guarantees, and your indication of security guarantees of some sort of Article 5 style guarantees fits with what we've been doing with the Coalition of the Willing, which we started some months ago, bringing countries together and showing that we were prepared to step up to the plate when it came to security. With you coming alongside, the US alongside what we've already developed, I think we could take a really important step forward today. A historic step, actually, could come out of this meeting in terms of security for Ukraine and security in Europe. I also feel that we can make real progress towards a just and lasting outcome. Obviously, that has to involve Ukraine, and a trilateral meeting seems the sensible next step. So thank you for being prepared to take that forward, because I think if we can ensure that that is the progress out of this meeting, both security guarantees and some sort of progress on trilateral meeting of some sort to bring some of the difficult issues to a head, then I think today will be seen as a very important day in recent years in relation to a conflict which has gone on for 3 and a bit years, and so far nobody's been able to bring it to this point. So I thank you for that.
Well, thank you very much. And, you know, it's very interesting because this is the first for the White House. So you can't say that very often. It's seen a lot over the years, since 1800, 1799, to be almost exact. But this is the first where we've had so many prime ministers, presidents, the heads of European nations. And by the way, Alex, I'd like you to say a couple of words, too. You're a young, powerful man.
Joseph says the European leaders really came here for security guarantees. Yeah. Why are they really relying on the U.S.? Because the U.S. is a superpower of the world. But that is coming from a person who lives in the U.S., so that's a little biased. But it's ultimately true, at least for now, at least currently, and hopefully for eternity, but we'll see. They just want security guarantees. Everyone's scared that Russia's going to continue and just bleed into Europe, et cetera, et cetera. So they definitely want to be on the side of the U.S., and you can't blame them. Oh, I just try to find that.
I'll take the notion of youth back to my.
The first where we've had so many prime ministers, presidents, the heads of European nations. And by the way, Alex, I'd like you to say a couple of words too. You're a young, powerful man. Before I finish up, I want you to say a couple of words. Go ahead.
I'll take the notion of youth back to my wife and try to convince her. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I think in the past 2 weeks, we've probably had more progress in ending this war than we have in the past 3.5 years. And I think the fact that we're around this table today is very much symbolic in the sense that it's Team Europe and Team United States helping Ukraine. And the progress that we're looking out of this meeting is about the security guarantees, which are a big part of this. And then, of course, moving towards a process with a trilateral meeting with you and President Putin and President Zelensky. Some of the international media might wonder, why is the President of Finland here? I think the reason is probably that we might come from a small country, but we have a long border with Russia, over 800 miles. And we, of course, have our own historical experience with Russia from World War II, the Winter War and the War of Continuation. And if I look at the silver lining of where we stand right now, we found a solution in 1944, and I'm sure that we'll be able to find a solution in 2025 to end Russia's war of aggression and find and get a lasting and just peace. The situation is very difficult, but that's why we're here.
Thank you.
Very well said. He probably had the best structured speech by far, and he really wasn't even about to be called on.
Thank you, Alex, very much. Good job. So we're going to be meeting for a while, and we're going to discuss some of the issues. And I don't think there's any issue that's overly complex. It's at a point now where people want to do things. I really do believe, I've known him for a long time. I've always had a great relationship with him. I think that President Putin wants to find an answer too. And we'll see. And in a certain period of time, not very far from now, a week or 2 weeks, we're going to know whether or not we're going to solve this, or is this horrible fighting going to continue? We'll do our best to get it ended. And I believe you have two willing parties, and usually that's good news, but two willing parties that want to make a deal. And we'll journey.
Henry, Trump also flew a B-250 bomber over Putin's head while he was walking down the red carpet.
Together, and we'll go over and we'll see if it can be done. And it's possible it might not be able to be done. On the other hand, it's possible it will. And we're going to save thousands and thousands of lives a week. And so it's something we really have to do. And or at least we have to give it our best. It's all you can do. You can give it your best. But I think we may have a very good outcome. So I want to thank you all, and the media, I want to thank you. We're going to be staying here for a little while. Then we're going to walk over to the Oval Office, and we're going to have another little discussion about similar matters, and then they're going to go home to their great countries and report, and I'm going to remain here and work, and you're going to go and work. We're all going to be working. We may be in a different location, but that's what we know how to do, is work. But I want to thank the media. Has been actually very fair, generally speaking, very fair. I think it's important that they're fair, because this is a very important subject. We have to get it ended. And so that's all we ask for, is fairness with the media. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
If you guys are just tuning in, that was President Trump participating in a multilateral meeting with the European leaders, discussing the next steps in the possible ceasefire or end to the war in Russia and Ukraine after Trump's meeting with Putin in Alaska on last Friday. Multinational cooperation and criminal rule the sea. Do you think Putin will show up in person to meet Zelensky? That is why the the trilateral meeting is trying to come into effect. Putin asked China to be a guarantor for an agreement with America and the Europeans. Trump is still working on it, setting up the location, etc., etc. Okay, so the docket for today, 1 p.m. it's scheduled. Trump signing congressional bill. I believe that'll be pushed off till after market because the White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt is doing a briefing at 1 p.m. Then at 2:10, Fed Bauman is speaking for the second time today. He spoke the first time at 10 a.m. Then tomorrow we have 7 a.m. US MBA mortgage applications, US MBA 30-year mortgage rate. Then 10:30 a.m. EST tomorrow. EIA crude oil inventories. 11 a.m. Fed Waller speaking. 1 p.m. US 20-year bond. Then 2 p.m. FOMC meeting minutes. I'm kind of expecting tomorrow to be a choppy day until 2 p.m. We'll just have to see. The first hour, 2 hours should be good volatility, offer some opportunities. We'll just have to see. Have to see, chap. We'll have to see. You guys are new here. If you're enjoying the stream, today was a terrible trading day. We blew 2 accounts and we're up 385 and 1. But if you're enjoying the stream, we'll be back tomorrow. And I decided to stop trading to stop accruing losses. Just was not and is not my day. Every day is not going to be a green day. And today is definitely a red day. Absolutely. Big red day. Big. Definitely top 5 worst trading days so far on social media. By far. Not number 1. But today would definitely have been up there if I would have continued. Call Powell, ask him what are the rate cuts. He should at least do a quarter point, 25 basis points, September 17th. I think the rate cuts, hope is what keeping the market going uptrend, hope and dreams. Joseph, what strategy do you use? That's very hard to explain. Today, it was non-existent. Very little. To be fair, I did predict what the market was do, what it would do. Just the execution was absolutely horrific. You think it'll keep tanking? NQ30 man looks like it wants to drop. Nvidia is currently down 2.5%. It may want to fall. I'll be eyeing the 22,408 level. Also post market, see what this does. It really depends on news, guys. Heavily depends on news. Look at the day chart. You gotta remember the day chart is very overextended as well. Do some analysis. Look at this day chart. It may be hard to see. I have a lot of lines drawn, but we've had this pop up ever since 16,458. Little pullback here and really no pullback, just slow grind up. So a little cool off period till like 22,400. Do I think it'll come this low? Probably not unless we get some seriously bad news, but that would also coincide with the 0.786 fib. It would coincide with a trend line as well. So that would be ideal. Then we have the 2-hour SMA down here. I mean, you gotta remember it bounced all the way from 16,474, had one cool off period and really none after that. It just grind up all the way from 17,700. So this could tank. This is a pretty good pivot point right here, 23,087. But the better pivot point is down here at 22,466. Let's zoom in a bit. In the short term, there's a pretty good pivot point right here at 23,411. Beyond that, there's one down here at 23,224. And then a pretty decent one right here, a little above at 22,047. And then we have the trend line and everything down below. but we did break through this trend line. Very key trend line. We had a bunch of touch points, consolidation, breakthrough, touch, touched it 3 times, then broke the 4th. Common pattern. Also broke through this key pivot point, 23,653. Very key pivot point. Tap, tap, consolidation, breakthrough, reject, consolidation, breakthrough, now reject. Depends what it does post-market today. I'll be eyeing it, and what this press briefing does. I'm expecting consolidation. It may continue to lay down to that pivot point below. Really depends. Gapper predicted 450. Could happen. Tomorrow I'll be eyeing the retracement back to this pivot point, 22,653. It really depends on news over the day. If we get that trilateral meeting, I'll expect it to come up and maybe hesitate, come back down to this pivot point, and then possibly break out. It could also come up and reject. So really key level. And it really depends over pre-market. We could be gapped down, could be gapped up. Really depends. So far, the market is red. Just a sea of red. Let me show you. So the NQ future is down 1.1%. ES future is down 0.5%. The dollar is up 0.05%. The VIX volatility index is at 15.44, up 3%. The Dow flipped red. Russell 2000 down 0.66. The regular S&P 500 is down 0.5%. Regular Nasdaq is down 1%. Nvidia down 2.6%. Tesla down 0.8%. Google down 1.7%. Amazon down 1.25%. Microsoft down 1.4%. Meta down 1.87%. Apple is up 0.13%. Netflix is down 3.25%. MicroStrategy down 6.5% on the day. Palantir is down 6.85% on the day. GameStop down 1.3%. Costco up 0.15%. Alibaba down 0.4%. Aimco down 2.7%. And AMD down 4.35%. QCOM down 1.5%. Adobe is up. Adobe is up 0.3%. Voyager Technologies, a newer IPO on the Nasdaq, is down 10% for today. Robinhood is down 5%. Bitcoin is down 2.17%. Ethereum is down 2.77%. Solana is down 2.7% as well. XRP is down 4.3% on the day. And Doge is down 3.75% on the day. So tomorrow is going to be pretty crucial. So far, this is a rejection of pretty key levels, but that does not mean it can't continue the uptrend. Also, a break of structure as well. Let's zoom back in. So lower low, lower high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and then higher low, then lower high, now a lower low. Pretty significant. So it's really going to be crucial what it does here. If it starts to build some bullish structure out, or if it continues to drop down to them key points I was talking about. Really depends, chat. Really depends. Metals also down. That is true, because we're getting close to that ceasefire. I'm kind of eyeing one more bullish run for metals. But yeah, gold is at $3,334, down $5.50 an ounce today. Silver is sitting at $37.68 an ounce, down 50 cents for the day. Very interesting. Keep a very close eye. The ICYMI, 16th of August, Putin made maximalist claim to Ukraine territory in Trump summit. Sources cited by Axios. Remember the docket today. Caroline Levitt speaking at 1 p.m. Then Fat Bauman speaking at 2:10 p.m. And be on the lookout for any Trump tweets if you're going to continue trading. Trump complaining about windmills. But besides that, we will be back tomorrow, chat. Tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. EST. If you're enjoying the stream, smash the like button, follow the channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Live every day at 9:30 a.m. EST, trading the market. We will be live tomorrow, and I will see you guys then. Persevere through resistance, chat. Appreciate you, Stunner, Beast, Henry, Joseph, Shamir, Dan, Legend, Shadow, Gapper, Norman. Appreciate all you guys. Persevere through resistance. Do not fear the unknown. Do not fear missing out. And there are no missed opportunities, only the next one. A lot of big stuff coming up this week. I will see you guys tomorrow to reclaim these losses, or at least put a low dent in it. See you. Peace.